Hello, everyone. Mm, Imagine a man walking into a crowded room. People are chatting, laughter fills the air, and connections are sparking all around him. Yet he feels utterly alone. He's not invisible, but he may as well be, because this man, the one with no friends, has convinced himself that loneliness is his destiny. Jeez. Now, let me tell you something. Loneliness isn't a life sentence. It's a signal that something needs to change. And here's the truth, most people won't tell you. The world doesn't owe you connection. You have to build it. Own your story. Let's talk about the power of owning your story. For a moment, think about this. If your life were a book, what would the title of this chapter be? The lonely one? The man with no friends? When we're feeling isolated, it's easy to label ourselves. But here's the truth. That label, that story, doesn't define you. It's just one part of your journey. And like any story, this one can change. But it starts with you owning it. Owning your story means acknowledging where you are without shame or judgment. It means saying, yes, this is my reality right now, but it doesn't have to be my forever. Um, when you admit to yourself that you're lonely, you take the first step toward transformation. Um, why? Because you can't change what you won't face. But here's where most people get stuck. They confuse owning their story with being trapped by it. Let me be clear. Owning your story is not about staying in a cycle of self-pity. It's about using your current reality as a foundation to build something better. 3 steps to own your story. Acknowledge without judgment. Stop beating yourself up for feeling alone. Loneliness isn't a weakness. It's a human experience. When you acknowledge it, you take control. You're no longer running from it. You're confronting it head on. Write it down, say it out loud, tell a trusted person, I feel lonely. The moment you give it a name, you strip it of its power to control you. Reframe the narrative. Your story isn't, I have no friends because I'm unworthy. Your story is, I'm learning what it means to connect deeply. Words matter. The way you speak to yourself matters. Rewrite your narrative in a way that empowers you, not diminishes you. Example, instead of saying, I'm bad at making friends, say, I'm practicing the skills to build meaningful relationships. Take ownership of the next chapter. Owning your story means realizing you're the author. You don't have to wait for someone else to show up and rewrite it for you. You hold the pen. Ask yourself, what does the next chapter look like? What kind of person do you want to become? Start small. If you want to be someone who values connection, take one action today that reflects that. Reach out to someone, join a group, or simply smile at a stranger. Stop chasing, start attracting. When you're feeling lonely, the instinct is often to chase connections. You want to find friends as quickly as possible. So you start seeking them out everywhere, at work, at events, online. But here's the catch. Chasing people rarely leads to deep, meaningful friendships. Why? Because when you're chasing, you're operating from a place of lack, and people can sense that energy. True connection doesn't come from chasing, it comes from attracting the right people into your life. And the way to attract others is by first becoming someone who radiates confidence, authenticity, and self-worth. Why chasing doesn't work? When you're chasing friendships, the focus is on them Mm, will they like me? How can I make them want to spend time with me? What can I do to fit in? This mindset puts you in a position of seeking external validation. It's exhausting and it often leads to shallow or unbalanced relationships because you're trying to convince people to like you rather than letting them naturally gravitate toward who you are. The power of attraction. Um, Attraction, on the other hand, flips the script. Instead of focusing on external factors, what others think of you, you focus inward. Attraction begins when you build a strong relationship with yourself. People are drawn to those who know who they are, who value themselves, and who exude a sense of purpose and positivity. Think about someone you admire. Why are you drawn to them? It's probably not because they're chasing after approval. It's because they're comfortable in their own skin. They're passionate, grounded, and authentic. That's the energy you need to cultivate. And so, how to start Attract Davian? Invest in yourself. Focus on becoming the kind of person you would want to be friends with. Pursue your passions, learn new skills, and develop hobbies that bring you joy. When you're doing things you love, you naturally meet people who share those interests. For example, if you love hiking, join a local hiking group. You're not chasing friendships there, you're enjoying your passion and letting connections happen naturally. It's embrace authenticity. People are drawn to those who are real. Be honest about who you are, what you value, and what you're looking for in friendships. Drop the mask of trying to impress others or fit in. Authenticity is magnetic because it creates trust. Focus on energy, not effort. Instead of trying too hard to make someone like you, focus on bringing positive energy into every interaction. Smile, be present, and listen actively. People are drawn to those who make them feel seen and valued. Set boundaries. Attracting the right people also means being okay with letting go of the wrong ones. Don't force friendships that feel one-sided or draining. When you set boundaries, you send a powerful message. You respect yourself and your time. Um, Let go of desperation. The moment you stop needing friendships to validate you is the moment you start attracting genuine connections. When you're content with your own company, you project confidence, and people will naturally want to be around you. The ripple effect of attraction. When you stop chasing and start attracting, something magical happens. The relationships that form are built on mutual respect and shared values, not desperation or convenience. These connections are deeper, more fulfilling, and more lasting. So instead of asking, how can I get people to like me? Ask, how can I be someone worth knowing? Focus on being the best version of yourself, and the right people will find their way into your life. Traction isn't about waiting passively, it's about actively becoming. And when you commit to becoming the kind of person you want to be friends with, you won't have to chase connections. They'll come to you. Be the friend you wish you had. When we feel isolated or disconnected, it's tempting to focus on what we're missing. Why doesn't anyone check in on me? Why don't I have someone to rely on? But here's a hard truth. The friendships we want don't appear by magic. They're built through action, consistency, and reciprocity. Instead of waiting for someone else to step up, take the initiative. Be the kind of friend you dream of having. When you lead with generosity, kindness, and authenticity, you set the tone for the type of connections you want to attract. The power of leading by example. Friendships are mirrors. The way you treat others often reflects the kind of energy you will receive in return. If you want friends who are loyal, supportive, and caring, you need to embody those qualities yourself. This isn't about pretending to be perfect. It's about intentionally showing up for others in the way you hope they'll show up for you. How to be the friend you wish you had. Show up consistently. True friendship isn't built in a day, it's built over time. Be the person who consistently shows up, whether it's sending a quick text to check in, remembering someone's birthday, or simply being there when they need to talk. These small acts of reliability build trust and connection. Example, if you wish someone would invite you to lunch, start by inviting someone else. Take the lead in creating opportunities for connection. Practice active listening. Everyone wants to feel heard and understood. When you're with someone, give them your full attention. Listen without interrupting or thinking about what you'll say next. Reflect back what you hear to show you're engaged. For example, instead of offering solutions immediately, try saying, "That sounds really hard. How can I support you?" Offer encouragement and support. Be the friend who celebrates others' wins and uplifts them in their struggles. A kind word, a compliment, or a simple, "I believe in you," can mean the world to someone. Example, if a colleague shares a personal goal, follow up later to ask how it's going. Let them know you care about their progress. Be vulnerable first. Deep friendships are built on trust, and trust comes from vulnerability. If you want others to open up to you, take the first step by sharing a bit about yourself. Talk about your challenges, fears, or hopes. Vulnerability invites connection. For example, instead of saying, "I'm fine," when someone asks how you're doing, try, "Honestly, it's been a tough week. How about you?" Set boundaries and respect others. Healthy friendships require mutual respect, which includes honoring boundaries. Be clear about your own needs and attentive to others' comfort levels. Boundaries create trust by ensuring that both people feel safe and respected. Um, Example, if a friend seems overwhelmed, say, "I'm here for you, but let me know if you need space. I respect that." They take initiative without expectation. The best friendships are rooted in giving without expecting anything in return. When you do something kind for someone, don't keep score. Your generosity will inspire others to reciprocate naturally over time. Um, Example, send an encouraging message, bring someone coffee, or offer to help with a task just because you want to brighten their day. Why this matters. When you become the friend you wish you had, you create a ripple effect. Your actions set a standard for how relationships should feel: safe, supportive, and genuine. This energy not only attracts the right people, but also strengthens the bonds you already have. And it's easy to feel like friendship is something that happens to us. But the truth is, friendship is something we actively create. When you take the first step, when you lead with the qualities you value, you empower others to do the same. And here's the most beautiful part. In the process of being the friend you wish you had, you discover that you are your own best ally. You become someone you're proud to spend time with. And that confidence radiates outward, drawing meaningful connections into your life. So don't wait. Be the spark, be the example, be the friend you've always wanted, and watch as the world responds in kind. Learn to love rejection. Let's face it, rejection hurts, whether it's being left out of plans, having your message ignored, or feeling like you're not someone's priority. Rejection can sting deeply. But here's the thing, rejection isn't personal and it isn't a reflection of your worth. It's a redirection, a stepping stone, and if you let it be, a powerful teacher. If you want to build meaningful friendships, learning to love rejection is essential. Why? Because rejection is part of the process. It's not a dead end, it's a detour that leads you closer to the people and connections meant for you. Why we fear rejection? Rejection triggers a primal response. Thousands of years ago, being rejected by a group could mean danger, even death. While we no longer face these life or deathly stakes, our brains still interpret rejection as a threat to our survival. That's why it feels so painful. But here's the truth. Rejection doesn't define your value. It's simply feedback. It says this isn't the right fit. And when you embrace rejection as information rather than a judgment, you take away its power to hurt you. How to love rejection? Reframe it as redirection. Um, and rejection isn't a no to you as a person. It's a no to a specific opportunity or connection. Every rejection clears the way for the right people to enter your life. For example, if someone declines an invite, instead of thinking they don't like me, try reframing it as this wasn't the right time or fit. I'll focus on other opportunities. See it as proof of courage. Every time you risk rejection, you're proving to yourself that you're brave enough to try. Putting yourself out there, whether it's reaching out to someone, joining a group, or starting a conversation, takes guts. Celebrate the effort, regardless of the outcome. Example, after being turned down, say to yourself, I'm proud of myself for trying. That's what growth looks like. And detach your self-worth. Rejection doesn't say anything about who you are as a person. It often has more to do with the other person's circumstances, preferences, or availability. Remind yourself that your worth isn't tied to someone else's response. Example, if a friendship doesn't work out, it might simply mean the other person isn't in the same stage of life or doesn't share your values, and that's okay. Use it as a learning opportunity. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? Did I approach it in a way I can improve next time? Was there a misalignment I didn't notice before? Treat rejection as a chance to grow. Example, if someone seems distant, reflect on whether you may have come on too strong or if they might be going through something unrelated to you. Normalize it as part of the journey. Everyone experiences rejection. Yes, everyone. Even the most social, confident people have faced moments of feeling excluded or overlooked. It's a universal experience, not a unique failure. Example, remember, every yes you've ever received likely came after multiple no's. The path to connection isn't straight, it's full of twists and turns. Celebrate the no's. Make rejection a game. For every no you receive, you're one step closer to a yes. Set a goal to collect rejections, not to fail, but to build resilience and desensitize yourself to the fear of hearing no. Example, if you're reaching out to make new friends, aim for 5 no's in a week. You might be surprised how many yeses you get along the way. Why loving rejection changes everything? When you learn to love rejection, you stop fearing it. And when you stop fearing rejection, you become unstoppable. You take more risks, put yourself out there more often, and open the door to opportunities you might have otherwise avoided. Rejection isn't an obstacle, it's a filter. It's life's way of saying, not here, but keep going. Each rejection brings you closer to the connections that truly align with who you are. So the next time you face rejection, don't shy away, embrace it, thank it, learn from it, and most importantly, keep moving forward, because every no is a step closer to the friendships and the life you deserve. Build habits, not just relationships. It's easy to think of relationships as the goal. We focus on finding the one best friend or building a small circle of close connections. But here's a truth that will transform how you approach connection. Lasting relationships aren't built in grand gestures or rare, intense moments. They're built in the small, consistent habits that shape how we show up for others and for ourselves every day. If you want to create deep, meaningful connections, focus less on the relationships themselves and more on the habits that nurture them, because relationships thrive on consistency, trust, and shared experiences, all of which come from the habits you build. Why habits matter more than moments? Habits create the framework for connection. They're the daily, weekly, and monthly actions that turn acquaintances into friends and friends into family. Without habits, relationships can fade, no matter how strong the initial bond. Um, think of it like this. Relationships are like plants. You can't water them once and expect them to thrive. They need regular care, sunlight, water, and time to grow. Habits are the watering of your relationships, is how to build connection, strengthening habits. Briatory, regular communication. Make it a habit to check in with people consistently, even if it's just a quick text or call. Small touches of communication keep relationships alive and show that you care. Example, set a reminder to text a friend every week or call a loved one every Sunday. It doesn't need to be a long conversation. Just a, hey, how's your week going? Can mean the world. Make time for face-to-face interaction. In-person connections are powerful. Make a habit of scheduling time to see people regularly, whether it's a weekly coffee, a monthly lunch, or a shared hobby. Example, join a club or class that meets consistently so you naturally build relationships with people over time. Create rituals together. Rituals are habits that strengthen bonds through shared meaning. This could be anything from a weekly movie night with friends to an annual trip with a close buddy. Rituals create a sense of belonging and continuity. For example, start a tradition of Sunday morning hikes with a friend or cooking dinner together every month. Be consistent, even in small ways. You don't need to spend hours every day maintaining friendships. Even small, consistent habits make a difference. A quick message, remembering an important date, or sharing a funny meme can keep you connected. Example, make it a habit to acknowledge birthdays or milestones. Send a card, text, or gift to show you care. You show up when it matters. Make it a habit to show up for the big and small moments in others' lives. Be there for celebrations, but also for struggles. Being a steady presence builds trust and deepens bonds. Example, if a friend is going through a tough time, check in regularly. A simple thinking of you text can mean a lot. To reflect on your habits. Take time to evaluate whether your habits are supporting the relationships you value. Are you showing up as much as you'd like? Are you spreading yourself too thin? Adjust as needed to focus on the connections that matter most. Example, once a month, review your calendar. Have you spent time with the people who matter most to you? If not, plan how you'll reconnect. The benefits of relationship habits. They reduce the stress of keeping up. When you have habits in place, you don't need to rely on spontaneity or wonder if you're doing enough. Habits create a rhythm that keeps relationships steady without feeling forced. They build trust and dependability. Consistency is the foundation of trust. When people know they can count on you to show up, whether it's for a quick call or a planned hangout, uh, they'll feel secure in the relationship. They foster long-term growth. Habits allow relationships to grow naturally over time. They provide the structure for deep, meaningful connections to flourish without needing constant effort or planning. Um, Habits over outcomes. Mhm. When you prioritize habits over outcomes, you shift your mindset. You stop chasing connections and start creating the conditions for them to thrive. It's not about a one-time effort. It's about cultivating a lifestyle of connection. And here's the best part. The habits you build don't just benefit your friendships. They make you a better, more fulfilled person. Because connection isn't just about others, it's about how you choose to live your life. Mm. So start small, build one habit today, and watch how over time those habits grow into the deep, lasting relationships you've been searching for. Um, Remember, you're never truly alone. Loneliness can feel overwhelming. It can convince you that you're disconnected, isolated, and unseen. But the truth is, you are never truly alone. Even in your quietest moments, there's a world of connection and support available to you. You just need to recognize it. Ah. This point isn't about pretending the pain of loneliness doesn't exist. It's about shifting your perspective. It's about finding strength in your own presence, discovering the invisible threads of connection around you, and understanding that being alone doesn't mean being unloved or unworthy. Connection starts within. Before we talk about the external world, let's start with the relationship that matters most, the one you have with yourself. You are your own constant companion. When you learn to love and appreciate your own company, you realize that loneliness is not about being alone. It's about feeling disconnected from yourself. Practice self-compassion. Speak to yourself with kindness. Instead of letting loneliness make you feel unworthy, remind yourself that this is a temporary feeling, not a permanent state. Um, Example, replace thoughts like, why doesn't anyone want to spend time with me, with I'm worthy of connection, and this moment is an opportunity to nurture myself and rediscover your interests. Spend time doing things that bring you joy, pursue hobbies, learn new skills, or explore your passions. When you invest in yourself, you fill your life with purpose and meaning, even in solitude. Um, Example, take up journaling, painting, or hiking. These activities not only keep you engaged, but also help you connect with like-minded people over time. Recognize the invisible threads of connection. Even when you feel physically alone, you are part of a vast network of human experience. You're connected to family, friends, coworkers, neighbors, even strangers who've touched your life in passing. Gratitude for existing, connections. Think about the people who've been there for you in the past or those who care about you now, even if you don't see them daily. Write down their names or send them a message to reconnect. Um, Example, hey, I was thinking about you today and wanted to say I appreciate having you in my life. Participate in community. Join activities, groups, or causes that align with your interests. Volunteering, attending meetups, or even participating in online communities can help you feel part of something bigger. Example, sign up for a local book club, volunteer at an animal shelter, or join an online discussion about a topic you love. Find comfort in shared experiences. Remember, you're not the only one who feels this way. Loneliness is a universal emotion, and countless others are searching for connection just like you. Example, share your thoughts with others, whether in person or online. Vulnerability often creates the connections you're seeking. Embrace the power of nature and the universe. Connection doesn't always come from people. Sometimes it's found in the beauty of the natural world or the vastness of the universe. These moments remind you that you're part of something much greater. Spend time outdoors, a walk in the park, watching the sunset, or simply breathing fresh air can help you feel connected to the world around you. Example, take a moment to notice the trees, the sky, or the sound of birds. Let yourself feel grounded in the present moment. Reflect on shared humanity. Think about the billions of people who have walked this earth before you. Their stories, struggles, and joys are all part of the human experience you're connected to.